You should always use your health insurance to buy anything related with healthcare. That's not always true, unfortunately. I wish it was. It'd make life a lot simpler. There's ways to save money by actually not using your health insurance. And one of those ways is with prescription drugs. And today we're going to talk about what those programs are and when you should and shouldn't use them. Hi, my name is John. I'm your healthcare hacker and a pretty frugally minded individual. I like to save money. Before we get started talking about how you can save money on prescription drugs, please take a minute and follow us on your favorite social media channel and like this video. That way, it'll help you stay up to date with our most recent healthcare hacks and how you can navigate the complex US healthcare system. Today, we're going to talk about a trick you can use on prescription drugs regardless of your insurance. Doesn't matter if you have Medicare, you have insurance through your employer, you have something you bought through exchange, you have short-term medical. Even if you don't have insurance, this will work. And they're discount pharmacy programs like GoodRx, Single Care, InsourceRx, just to name a few. These programs take the place of insurance. You get a card, you bring it to your pharmacy, and you get a discount off the retail price. Typically, they don't cost you anything. So let's talk about what they are, how they work, and then pros and cons and when you should use them. So what are these companies? What is a GoodRx, a Single Care, an InsourceRx? You might have seen one of their advertisements on TV or driven by a billboard as you're going to work. Well, the simplest way to explain them are they're coupon companies. Basically, they offer coupons where if you use them instead of your insurance, you get a cash-based price that's significantly lower than retail. The discounts vary from 30 to 80%, kind of depends on the drug, the pharmacy you're going to, but they allow you to get a drug cheaper than you would if you bought at retail. There are a couple instances where these programs make a ton of sense to use. The first one is if you get a drug that's maybe not covered by your insurance, right? This could be something where, for whatever reason, it's not considered medically necessary. It's something where your insurance just is on your formulary, it won't cover that medication. Well, especially the short-term medication, you're going to use it for 14 days, a set amount of time. These organizations, GoodRx, Single Care, InsourceRx, can be great ways to get a lower cost than if you just went and bought cash. You don't have to deal with the hassle of finding the insurance company to try to get it covered. Now, the second big advantage is they're oftentimes cheaper, right? Even if you have pretty good insurance, right? They've got a better deal than your insurance company does. So if you go and, especially for high deductible plans, if you have one of those, you might be able to get the drug at a lower cost than you would if you did it with your insurance. At the same pharmacy, same drug. It's pretty amazing. So for example, I did this for myself, just a little thought experiment. I went out and looked at albuterol, which is a asthma inhaler. It's generic. It's about $80 retail at my local Walgreens. Well, I have Blue Cross Blue Shield in Minnesota. If I ran that through insurance, it would cost me $62 because I haven't met my deductible. So I'd be paying that to Walgreens. But if I used InsourceRx example, it costs $28. There's a $34 difference there. Same exact inhaler, same pharmacy. The difference is whether I use my insurance or I use, in this case, InsourceRx. It's a lot cheaper. So it may make a lot of sense, especially if you haven't hit your deductible or are not going to hit your deductible, to use one of these programs. Now, there is one big caveat though, and that's it doesn't go through insurance. And so it doesn't accumulate towards your deductible or out-of-pocket max. So if I spend $28 on albuterol, that's not $28 doesn't go toward making me any closer to my deductible. So if I do blow through my deductible this year, blow through my out-of-pocket max, that's $28 I wouldn't have had to spend. So there is some risk. If you do use these programs where, you know what, you're just not going to get that money back. It's going to end up costing you money. So you got to be careful on how you use them. So let's talk about the circumstances where it may make sense to use GoodRx, InsourceRx, Single Care instead of using your insurance to buy a prescription drug. Well, the first one is pretty obvious. If you don't have insurance or your drug's not covered by insurance, absolutely, no doubt, use GoodRx. It's a no-brainer. Secondly, if you have insurance and typically a high deductible, then you have to decide whether or not you're going to hit your deductible. Now, you can make this really complex. You could build formulas and models. However, I think it's pretty simple. And this is what I use as my own rule of thumb. When I'm 3 months away from the end of the year, so in my case, October, I know what I spend every month on prescription drugs. And if I'm at least 6 times, like 6x away what I spend a month, so if I spend $100 a month, if I'm $600 away from my deductible, then I basically say, you know what? I'm going to switch over to GoodRx or single care, because the chance of me actually hitting my deductible in the year is very, very low at that point. And even if I do, well, I'm not out that much money, right? I'm only out what I spend on those last 3 months for my prescriptions. So it's a good way to put a couple $100 in your pocket at the end of the month, again, depending on what prescriptions you use. Well, I hope you found that helpful. Prescription drugs are expensive enough. If we can find little ways to save money, that can go a long ways. And this is just one of those tricks that, depending on your circumstance, can put some money back into your pocket. If you have any questions or comments about this episode, please leave them in the comments below. We love your questions. We want to help. We'll try to address any questions we get in future episodes of Healthcare Hacks. And as always, remember to get your facts by joining me in the next episode of Healthcare Hacks.